All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah. So, is this going to look like this, or can I have the full thingy? All right. Okay. Okay. So, again, I'm Dominica, and I had the chance to work for some nice organizations. Maybe some people would say nice organizations. It was really lovely people and so on. And I felt like there was something missing in my life. And I was going through my personal transformation, and I just met for my during a coaching course. I've met a wonderful person, and I have decided a couple of years ago to use my coaching agile coaching skills for another purpose. And this is when I joined an organization called Rising Leader Center. It was created about, I don't know, we exist for about 4 years, and so we are based. The founder is Joyce Malombe. She's Kenyan and American, and we operate in East Africa, so Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. And what we do actually, we have developed a leadership program for leaders of nonprofit organizations. So people who actually work on the field to make sure the kids in Africa, in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, they can go to schools. And we focus on also on girls' education. So our program, what we do is we really want to make sure the leaders they connect to themselves, connect to one another, connect to the purpose, so they can serve the communities which they help. Right, but today I'm going to speak about Ubuntu and Agile coaching. And if you are a developer like yesterday, no, it's not going to be about open source because that was the feedback I got. No, it's not that part. So sorry if I'm disappointing you. Um, yeah. So when I first landed in Africa, or when I go to Africa, the word community pops up in many conversations. If you are in Europe, if you just don't hear it so often as much as you hear it in Africa. And maybe this is what Ubuntu is about. It's about philosophy of community and humanity. It comes from has very various names, but it comes from Bantu people. So really short, what is it about? Ubuntu means I am because you are, and literally it means a person is a person through other people. And this is so enrooted when you meet people when I meet people from mostly from Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and South Africa. So we are schooled in Europe, or I mean in Western Europe, or maybe I don't know Europe. Me, I'm from Poland, so I also schooled in this. It's a philosophy of René Descartes. Je pense donc je suis. It means that first of all, I exist first, and then I am connected. But in Ubuntu, it's the opposite. It's first of all, I do not exist, and then I'm connected. I exist because I am connected, which brings completely different way of thinking. In other words, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, he explained this through I am human because I belong, I participate, and I share. It is not actually a concept, it's not something to understand, it's actually to live it in daily life. So, what I like the most about this, it's not about us being human beings, biologically human beings. It reminds us to be humane. And humane, it means caring for each other, about generosity, sympathy, and well being for one another. So, just really shortly about the pillars of Ubuntu, the way they show up in daily life. We're all humans. So, before you are a leader, see whatever, you are a human person, human being, and so is the other people around you. We're all interconnected. You're not alone. We're all interconnected here. Mutual obligation, responsibility is that if you succeed, help other people to succeed. Because if you fail, the community will help you, will catch you. Human dignity. If someone does wrong to you, it's really about treating it still as a human being And this is where Nelson Mandela, when he left the prison, he talked about it because he treated people who imprisoned him with a respect. But just to visualize the last part, there's a Kenyan proverb I really like. When two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers, which means it's not about the elephants who's right and wrong. The goal is to restore the grass, to restore the atmosphere around it. But so what brought me about Ubuntu? What is it has to do together at Agile Coaching and Ubuntu? When I joined the program, I was there to support with Agile Coaching, actually with coaching teams, and this is what I was doing at the time. And I started to hear my friends from other coaches from Africa, and I was like, okay, let's think about it. I was like, okay, so in Ubuntu, when you hear about I am because we are, in the language of Agile coaching, we say high performing teams that care for each other, support each other. Lead with humanity, we talk about fostering servant leadership. Community and collective wisdom, we talk about collaboration, joint meetings so we can share our knowledge. The mutual obligation, Agile coaches, we're talking about shared ownership. Community belonging is probably when we are talking about psychological safety and trust. So you can see Ubuntu has been there for so many years. And the way I see it is really Agile coaches focuses on helping organizations to find ways and processes to respond to the change. But Ubuntu reminds us to do it humanly. Or perhaps Ubuntu gives a human philosophy to what Agile tries to achieve organizationally. My call to all of you here is to really, in these times of social unrest and really this AI disruption, Ubuntu invites us to really reflect what does it mean to be a human being. So perhaps as an Agile community, because this is an Agile community, can we bring more Ubuntu spirit to our organization? And lastly, I mean, this is probably the African proverb that you've seen on many different their leadership trainings. But so if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go fast, go together. But I wanted to give you another perspective on this, that if you go fast and you get tired, you're probably carrying a burden that's supposed to be shared. So I want to thank you, all of you, and I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank my friends who could not be here today, especially Jules, who is in South Africa. She really wanted to be here. Joyce, who is in DC today, and all of you gave me courage. All these people that have been for 2 days said, "You're gonna make it, Dominica. Come on the stage. You're gonna make it." And my friends in Africa for teaching me so much, and for allowing me to be the voice of Africa today. But also, I want to thank, actually, there's so many people today on the stages during these 2 days that have been my teachers. All these Agile coaches that I've seen here for a couple of years, that I've been following their wisdoms. I brought your wisdoms to Africa. So if you think you are not connected, we are connected because I'm using your slides sometimes to people in Kenya, and this is what brings the change for kids in Africa. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you very much, Dominica.